Let me break it down for you. We got this kid, Yua Tenjo. Regular school dude, right? But this poor kid, man, he's catching hell from every direction. Even his own folks are giving him the business. Quiet, shy, dealing with some genetic twist that's got him on the chunky side, and let's say he ain't winning any beauty contests. Now, this kid, he's getting harassed left and right. Classmates, family, even strangers. No friends, no self-worth. The only person who ever showed him any love was his granddad living in some old house on the edge of town. But when granddad passed and Yua was left as the sole heir, his parents tried to kick him out. They couldn't pull it off, though, and Yua ended up holding down the home. No friends, no hobbies, no life goals. Just this chubby little guy always getting picked on? His only salvation was to immerse himself in thoughts of his grandfather, to remember his kindness, his care, and his admonition that he too should be kind to all people. So one day, after coming home from yet another beatdown, he's venting, smashing mirrors. But then he spots this strange door in his bathroom, hidden in the wall. Accidentally stumbles into another house in a whole magical world. Yahello! Decides to try out the stuff there, and he really takes a liking to all the different weapons, with a spear quickly becoming his jam. In this other world, Yua finds himself in an empty house, protected by some kind of barrier that keeps monsters at bay. The place is loaded with books, weapons, armor, and all sorts of artifacts with some crazy properties. Yua also stumbles upon this status and skill system, letting him see his own stats and abilities, even level them up with experience points from monster, slaying. Turns out, Yua ain't just gaining experience that affects him in this new world, but it's bleeding over into reality. All the changes in his status and skills are sticking with him in both worlds. He didn't catch on right away because his mirror was shattered and he couldn't see the changes that went down. But his classmates and even his siblings sure noticed the difference right away. So, gather round, friends, because we have a story. It's about Kaori Hojo, a gorgeous, popular girl from an elite school. She's nice and friendly to everyone, but she secretly has a thing for our guy Yua Tenjo. She worships his bravery and kindness, always trying to lend a helping hand and cheer him up. But Yua is too immersed in his shyness and insecurity to notice. He thinks she's just being nice out of pity. Their paths cross when Yui rescues Kaori from bandits trying to kidnap her. But these bandits beat up Yui. Kaori, feeling grateful and guilty, decides to pay him a school visit and invites him to her elite school. She thinks there he can blossom. Maybe he'll have a chance at a better life. She didn't know about Yui's transformation, but it was a nice bonus. She was willing to help him without paying attention to appearances, because what matters to her is what's on the inside. So, Yui receives an invitation to an elite school and gets a complete shock. He feels out of place. His appearance may have changed, but he's still the same shy guy. And here's the best part. His siblings step out of the box and offer to take his place. They're confident, getting top grades and all. But Kaori is quick to quash the offer. She tells them straight up. They've been watched, they've been graded, and their words and actions are not true. Personal qualities are more important than grades any day. Yui reluctantly agrees to try out the new school and is pleasantly surprised. He sees how the class develops friendships, how everyone helps each other and has fun. He decides, you know what? I'm here for the long haul. Now, Kaori's love for Yui becomes even stronger when she gets into hot water again. His brother and sister, wanting revenge for their bruised ego, team up with a gang of thugs to kidnap the beautiful Kaori. Seeing all this, Yui is frozen in fear for a moment, but then realizes, hey, things have changed. He's not the same person he used to be. So he springs into action. He jumps off a 4-story school building, fights bandits, and rescues Kaori Hojo. His brother and sister come to their senses, admit their mistake, and apologize. Yui is now the school's hero. and he wins Kaori Hojo over even more. Let me tell you about it, folks. We have this dude Yu who is just minding his own business at home, right? One day, he stumbles upon a secret room, and guess what's on the other side? A whole world. He walks into it, lands in a forest, and boom! Giant monsters outside his house. At first, he thinks, I'm out to here. But then he realizes that his house is magical, and there's a bunch of cool weapons. So he starts practicing, leveling up, and those skills improve him in both worlds. He destroys a monster with ease, and you know what his favorite weapon is? You think it's a sword? Or a cool mace? Maybe a light bow? No, it was a cool, powerful weapon, namely the spear. A super long spear. That's it. Eventually, his level increases, and he thinks, okay, time to go to the forest where the beasts are stronger. And while Yua is there, Lexia von Alsaria, princess of the kingdom of Alsaria, is exploring the dark forest with her royal guards. Yui hears screams and rushes to help. Seeing the damsel in distress, he does his best to save her from a nightmarish troll. She loses consciousness, but does have time to see her savior. And that's when her squad shows up just in time. Yui hides, but after making sure the girl is cured, the next time Yui goes into the woods, what will he find? Our girl and her night squad are again attacked by trolls, and he rushes to the rescue again. It turns out that Lexia went in search of him. She has a hidden mission that is known only to her. In the dark forest, she begins to look for the main character. But here's the catch. Her mission is to propose to her knight in dark armor. Just a shocker, don't you think? Upon meeting Yui, she tells him that she's a princess, and he has a VIP invitation to her castle. Her daddy wants to thank his daughter's savior from the bottom of his heart. Yui thinks, is this real life, or am I going crazy? He agrees to start in the friend zone and get to know the king. He begins training alongside Lexia, getting to know her world and her moods. He sees that she is kind, brave, and has a lot of responsibility on her shoulders. And guess what? She's lonely and misses Yui when he comes home. She wants to spend as much time with him as possible, and she wants him to be her husband. Over time, Yua and Lexia grow closer, and those feelings grow deeper. They support each other throughout, sharing joys and disappointment. They meet allies and enemies in both worlds, determining their destiny. They realize that it's not just about strength, but also about heart. This is going to be a really hot story right now. You ready? Let's go. Ri Sawada is a teacher at UC Academy, a real genius, and a young adult of a woman. Her looks are considered extremely attractive, but her personality and greedy nature tend to turn people away from her, causing her to be single for a very long time. The first encounter is when Kaori brings Yuya to school. Sawada is Yuya's first teacher, and she introduces him to the class and wants them to become friends. After an incident where she was about to be attacked by a wild bear, Yuya Tenju saves her, causing her to fall in love with him, which basically means she views him as someone who would take care of her needs in the most logical sense. Not at all romantically in love with him, just viewing him as the perfect specimen to excel her own performances better. Due to her personality, there are not many people who would be able to handle her aside from Yuya. Ri is shown as single and drinks heavily. In her drunken stupor during the field trip, she openly tries to propose to Yuya after she was impressed by his cooking. Like real-life geniuses, she is shown to be a very intellectual individual, but struggles with social networking and issues like home care and viewing cooking as a waste of time, despite complaining about it constantly. She has a nonchalant view on her wants and needs, and describes herself as a lazy slob who works as a teacher because she likes to teach the younger generation. She views any man who can cook, clean, and put up with her as husband material, and often describes herself as someone who is okay with that person to do whatever they wishes to her and her body if they continue to take care of her, showing her selfish, warped side on what romance is. Her greed is another notable trait as she grew up poor, and though she lives a bit more lavishly now, she is always competitive towards things that might increase her income. Despite these flaws, she is shown to be a very caring individual. and extremely understanding and wise during certain situations. Her lack of social skills towards people her own age have given her a bit of a complex, and her insecurities come out whenever she drinks. She is also aware that Yuya is abnormally good at everything, even comparing him to a protagonist of his own manga, then chiding her theories as silly despite that she is right on the money. Rai is one of the few characters that can break the fourth wall, as she generally is a background character. But in some panels that show her interactions with Yuya Tenju, her thought bubbles seem to view Yuya as someone who should only exist in a fictional story, and often describe some future event that turns out to be true. Though Ri teases and wishes to marry Yuya, which is technically against most modern laws in the world, she gives off the vibe of not really serious until he is of age. She brushes the fact she shouldn't be overly flirtatious with a student with a wry smile, and implying if anything did happen, it wouldn't have been the way she understands how Yuya would react, and probably become very embarrassed. Another interesting story for you. Our cool viewer, don't forget to subscribe. We have Kade Kazama, the popular girl. Kade is an extremely friendly and energetic girl who is very eager to get to know people. She has a naivete when it comes to anything involving romance, often muttering to herself, and is constantly thinking a friendly encounter with Yuya Tenju could be a romantic endeavor. She loves animals and considers herself Knight's number one fan. She often makes sure everyone around her is in good vibes and has an innate sense of others' worries, but often doesn't pry until tears fall. Ha! She really dislikes Rin Kanzaki's perversion when she touches Kade, touching her huge breasts twice, but it's friendly. Between beautiful girls? Despite this, she cares for Rin as a friend, showing annoyance if Rin takes things too far. And that's where the fun begins. Kade became interested in Yuya at first sight when he initially tried out Aouzei Academy for a day before becoming an officially enrolled student. They met for the first time during their free time and exchanged names. When Akira Ichinose kicked the ball hard, causing Kade to dodge the ball and nearly fall off the stadium, Yuya saved her from falling. Kade was surprised at first, but then she instantly admired his swift reactions, even telling him that it was like in a manga or action movie. She then started to touch Yuya's body and was amazed by his muscles. It's clear that after he saved her from falling, she developed an instant admiration for him, which led to her falling in love. She is very secretive of her crush, often becoming scary calm whenever the other girls try to find out. She's all sunshine and rainbows, taking care of everyone, but you know what? She secretly loves Yuya. Their connection? It's like a boiling cauldron of friendship slowly turning to love. And the feelings? They are real and sincere. Both feel the attraction, but keep it a secret. They're afraid for fear of ruining a good thing. So, are you ready to learn the story of another beautiful girl? You know, we have Rin Kanazaki in our story, tough as nails, never giving in to anyone. The leader of the school means, and she has no time for wimps. She has a secret talent, sings like an angel and plays guitar but keeps it under lock and key like Fort Knox. Rin is an outgoing and friendly girl. She's a bit sharp-tongued, as she likes to tease people. And she also has a somewhat unconventional attitude towards girls with large breasts. This was evident when she touched Kade Kazama's. Yup, huge breasts twice. But that doesn't hinder her friendship with her since it's just a joke. She is the first to also recognize crushes towards Yuya Tenju from the other girls, including her own, but generally rather cheer the others on because she's hesitant to join in on the competition, though over the course of the series is fine with just being a friend towards him. Often jokes with Yuya about starting a harem, much to Yuya's embarrassment later in the series. Rin is one of Yuya's friends. He was saved by Yuya from a fire. She was also placed on his team during the camping trip. She doesn't let her crush for him get in the way of her friendship with him, and is often aware of just how many women have fallen for him. The feelings between these two? Unpredictable, fiery, like a storm coming in. They're both drawn to each other, but they pretend not to notice. All right, friends, gather round. We have a cool girl, Luna, and let me tell you, she's no ordinary girl. She's a gorgeous hottie from another world. No, she doesn't have the power of moonlight or control light and shadow like a boss. The first meeting between Yuya and Luna takes place in this otherworldly realm. Yui flies in to save her from those more trolleys. Due to years living in cruel and unforgiving environment, Luna developed very cold and naturalistic view in order to survive. As a result, she has no problem of killing people without hesitation. Despite this, she still retained morality and can show gratitude to people's kindness. With Yuya Tenju and Lexia von Arselia's help, Luna begins to change and stops being an assassin. Though her dark side generally crops up whenever a loved one is threatened, and those who find out she used to be the headhunter are mortified they offended her. She cherishes being brought into the light and is extremely grateful to Yuya and to Lexia. She has a comedic, gloomy personality trait whenever something doesn't go her way, and is fiercely embarrassed around Yuya whenever someone brings up anything romantic. She often suffers from soldier trauma, the trauma of taking another human life, but starts to accept herself slowly over the course of the series. She loves bathing and is ecstatic when she gets her own bath drop item and often uses it to discipline Lexia's outrageous demands to even the playing field. She is considered the strongest, uncorrupted human native alive in her world, probably in part to Yuya's training. She finds out that Yuya is an otherworlder and she has an extreme curiosity about Earth ever since, until she visits it herself. Yui and Luna? They don't rush things. Let them simmer. They feel the warmth, the glow in each other's hearts, but they don't rush to the finish line. They realize they are from different worlds, with different responsibilities. They share their thoughts, their feelings, but they also give each other freedom. They try to be happy, but sometimes they feel like they are dancing on the edge of a cliff. In the end, Yui and Luna put their best foot forward. They become a team, promising to be there for each other no matter what. They continue to fight for peace and justice, becoming beacons of light in this other world. What's up, guys? Let's continue the parade of beautiful ladies. Here's another gorgeous girl story. What happened? Miu met Yuya at the mall. The photo shoot was on the verge of being canceled because the model's boyfriend was delayed after the party, and it was unclear when he would show up. Something had to be done. So, the director started looking for a new model right in the mall. Yuya would pick out his clothes while walking around the mall. So, they became model partners for the boy and girl photo shoot. In the photographer's opinion, Yuya was handsome. She also noticed that he was very gentle and sweet. The photo shoot was going great, but then the guy who was supposed to be there in the first place showed up. He didn't care that he was late. He immediately started hitting on Miu. Everyone stood and watched, and people were just shocked. But our hero saved Miu from being harassed by her former photo shoot partner XEA, a lazy and drunk boxer who turned out to be a scoundrel. For saving her from C's harassment, Miu has romantic feelings for Yu and would do anything to get Yu to model for Star Productions. She meets him periodically to get to know him better and see his smile. She immediately realizes that he is a kind and good guy, and she wants to help him become a star. The relationship between them is just beginning. What will happen next? Friendship or just work or maybe love? We'll find out very soon. Okay. Now, the mystery of another beautiful stranger will be solved. It's a really scary story. UT acts like a cold, unemotional, and monotonous machine. She is very manipulative when she decides to make Rhaegar her pawn. She has no tolerance for those who have let her down before and gets rid of her useless minions like Rhaegar after he failed to kill Lexia von Arcelia. But Yuya saves Rhaegar, but he becomes curious as to who it is. Who is this girl with the cold stare and white hair? Well, guess what? Yudi was an apprentice to the Holy Bows. She used Rhaegar von Arcelia as her pawn to destroy as many people as possible. She is the successor to the Holy Bow, but manipulated by evil. This was due to her teacher being betrayed and killed by humans, but she ended up following the path of evil. It then turned out that she had no other path, as hatred and malice settled in her heart. Yuri decides to take revenge on the main character for interfering with her plans. As he's very powerful and therefore must be destroyed, she begins to search for him in the dark forest where Yuya has been training to defeat the evil force. A battle ensues between the two. At this time, Kaori comes to visit him. She enters another world and hears the loud sounds of explosions and rushes to them. Yuya notices Kaori, and in order to save her, he realizes that he needs to become stronger. The power of love adds bonuses to our hero. His teacher, the White Rabbit, comes to the rescue. He tells that the sacred power is given to protect the world from evil, not to destroy. Together, they defeat Yuti. After the battle with Yuya, his teacher purged the evil from her soul, and she can now live with joy in her heart. After recovering from this, as the power of evil had brainwashed her, she became a student at Yusei Academy. So what will happen next? It's a mystery, but we think she will also fall in love with Yuya, but will he be able to accept her? Do you know who Yukin Hudo is? I'll tell you. She goes to the same school as our main man Ui. They're classmates. And let me tell you, Yuki's side can have some serious affairs of the heart. Yuki, Hyodo is no fool. Alright, let me break this down for y'all. Yukin comes off as a blunt, quiet, and mysterious woman of cool, athletic beauty, but she is friendly and helpful, who is also extremely shy around other guys, often hiding her staring at Yuya Tenju without him being aware of her intentions. At the start of the series, she comes off as extremely helpful and kind, yet keeps sentences short and precise, adding a mysterious aura to her character. But her inner monologue is that of a normal girl who has the same worries but has an amazing poker face. She is intrigued by Yuya because, like her, he comes off as an awkward yet extremely kind individual. But let me tell you, this ain't your average story of sharing is caring, nah. See, Yukin, she's got layers. On the outside, she's all cool, athletic beauty, giving off this vibe like she's got her own theme music playing in the background. But deep down, she's got a heart of gold. And man, is she shy around dudes. Like, she's got ninja-level skills in the art of staring without getting caught. Yui, oblivious as ever, ain't got a clue. At first, she's all about those short, precise sentences, like she's training for a marathon in minimalism. Adds this whole mystery package to her, you know? But here's the kicker. Inside her head, she's just a regular girl, dealing with the same worries and insecurities as the rest of us. It's like she's got a PhD in poker face. Now, she's got a bit of envy for Yuya. Dude's like the social butterfly of the school, flitting around and making friends like it's a cakewalk. But you know what they say, iron sharpens iron. As time goes on, Yukin, she blossoms. That sweet smile of hers? It's like sunshine breaking through the clouds. And when she's tight with you, get ready for some epic teasing. Oh, and let's not forget brains. She's packing brain. Second smartest in the whole school, and that's saying something. She was the queen of the hill before Yuya rolled in, and now they're playing chess while the rest of us are playing checkers. So here's to Yukin, the unsung hero with a heart of gold, a smile that could melt glaciers, and the brains to outsmart us all. She's the real deal, folks. Yuya, you better recognize what you got right next to you. So, let's break it down. We have a guy, Ui Tenju, who somehow got lucky and entered a world where he has cheat codes for life. It's like winning the space lottery. Suddenly, he becomes a powerful force, leveling up faster than a squirrel full of espresso. And then, oh, miracle, he has a harem? Who'd have thought it? Girls are lining up behind him, all thanks to his newfound strength, bravery, kindness, and, let's not forget, literary talents. We're talking about ladies like K-8 Kazuma, smart and popular, but secretly fond of anime and manga. It turns out she's partial to Tenma, unaware that she has the author himself in her entourage. And then there's Rin Kanzaki, tough as nails, leading her pack at school. She's allergic to weakness, guys. But you know what? She has a hidden talent for singing and playing guitar. And guess who tickles her fancy? Our boy UI. Why? Because he's got muscles and charisma to match. Next is Luna. Mysterious, stunningly beautiful, and from another world altogether. She has the power of the moon, controlling light and darkness. Plus, she has a kingdom to save. And guess who she turns to for help? None other than our man Yui. Why? Because he has courage and heart. Mio Meadow, what a cutie. Smart as a whip, but very insecure. She has a penchant for Tenmei fantasy novels. So, who comes to her rescue? You guessed it, UI. He's not just a strong man, folks. He's also confident. And let's not forget Lexia, an energetic firecracker with just as much firepower. She needs who signs up for the job? Yes, you guessed it, UI. Because he has fire in his belly, literally. And finally, Sawada, a hot and strict teacher with a touch of loneliness on the rocks. She had taken a fancy to Tenma's novels, but she didn't know her student was a secret author. She'd fallen in love with his brain, or maybe something more. And he not only has brains, he has brawn. So, friends, gather round. The story is about Yuya Tenju, cheat codes and all, in a world where he has more female fans than a rock star. But here's the catch. Are you ready? He didn't just win hearts, he changed lives. Each of these ladies gained more than just a hero. They gained a friend, a confidant, a partner in crime. And that, my friends, is the legend of Yui Tenju. He didn't just raise the level of the game, he raised the level of life. So, friends, do you want to know the secret to creating a harem? Then listen up. You've heard the story of a guy named Yui who followed in his grandfather's footsteps and spreads kindness like confetti. And guess what? Life offered him a sweet deal. And Yui wasn't about to pass up the chance. Oh no! He plunges headfirst into the magic and martial arts of a whole other world. He didn't realize that his level in the real world gave him an advantage. No way! It's like getting a level upgrade without even asking for it. And let me tell you, thanks to his kindness and modesty, the ladies are lining up like a Black Friday sale. In the real world, UI is like LeBron James in high school. Superstar status. Girls swoon, guys swoon with envy. He's got brains, he's got brawn, and now he's got looks that could make a Greek god blush. This guy has gone from zero to hero faster than you can say level. He's not just in school, he's conquering all arenas. Sports? Check. Check. Art? Double check. Science? Better believe it. Business? Oh, he excels at that too. Yui Tenju isn't just a legend, he's a living, breathing, two-world conquering phenomenon. But I'll tell you, it's not just about strength. This man has found his purpose, his happiness, his path. He's a hero of two worlds, spreading goodness like butter on toast. So let's drink to Yui, the legend, the man who turned his life around and became the hero he was meant to be. Now let me finish. Yui went beyond conquering worlds. Oh no! He took that charm, that magic, and turned it into something legendary. This guy has more phone numbers than a telemarketing agency. He's got more groupies than a rock star and more love letters than, well, than your boy has ever gotten. Why? Because he didn't just rely on his looks or skills. He had a heart, a genuine kindness that made people flock to him. There was an aura of I'm here for you emanating from him, and let me tell you, ladies love that. They can smell sincerity a mile away. So here he is, Yui Tenju, the wonder of two worlds. A guy who grew up not just in statistics, but in life, in love, and in making the world a better place. He is a living legend, a true hero, and if you want my opinion, the world could use a few more like him. So remember, friends, it's not just about the power you have, but how you use it. Used it not only to kill monsters, but also to win hearts. And that, in my opinion, is a true superpower.